Good morning and welcome to another episode of Josh and Pat. I'm Joshua Klein, joined by Patrick Cassett, and last night we got to watch a comeback story unlike any other. Baker Mayfield, who was kicked out of Cleveland for, we all know, after showing so much dedication that he was living at the stadium, goes to the Panthers, which is a dumpster fire. He is set up to fail. And then he's homeless. Baker Mayfield, all he wants to do is find a place, find a home. Rams give him a chance. And 2 days after joining the team, after having to look at Spark Notes to learn the playbook, 98-yard game-winning drive to seal the deal. And now this morning, we're talking about Baker Mayfield as potentially the best quarterback in Los Angeles. And guess what? Stats will tell you that. Because Baker Mayfield has a higher winning percentage than Stafford. If you subtract the games that he'd play in awful Carolina, he has a higher winning percentage than Justin Herbert. Baker Mayfield is the guy. And Patrick Cassett, can Baker Mayfield turn the franchise around? And is Baker Mayfield the future of the Rams?
Josh, you got to wonder if the Super Bowl window has opened back up for the Rams. It looks like Matthew Stafford may have a serious injury, and speculation's already out there on whether or not he'll play again. Baker Mayfield may just extend that window.
I think he might. Listen, everyone loves a good comeback story, and I think that's why last night was so special. Now, the game leading up to the comeback, very boring, I will say. Not a great game. Low-scoring affair, kind of like the Bucs game Thursday or Monday, but it really only mattered the last couple of minutes there because that's when I was glued in. The rest of the game, I had stuff to do. I was getting stuff done, working around the house. When I sat down for the last 2 minutes, that's when the show needed to come, and it came. And Patrick, the Raiders have problems. They got big problems because
the Raiders aren't good. Let's just call them what they are. They're not a good football team. And Josh McDaniels may not be a good football coach.
There is a chance that is very true. I mean, you lose to an ESPN analyst 1 week, and then a couple weeks later, you lose to a guy who had 2 days on the playbook in a position that knowing the playbook is probably, if I had to guess, now I haven't been in an NFL locker room, if I had to guess, pretty important. Jerry Tillery, this guy's getting blasted, and as he should. So Baker Mayfield throws what would be the game-sealing interception. And then pass interference, get a second chance. Then takes a sack, would be for a 9-yard loss. And the next thing you know, they're going to have to get to the line and spike the ball, stop the clock. They don't have any timeouts. So that now we're talking about 2 plays, take off a lot of clock. You're in the hole. Game's pretty much over at that point. Jerry Tillery, for no reason, just knocks the ball out of Baker Mayfield's hand. Just for no reason. But Jerry, what are we doing? Listen, when you're a defensive lineman, and you're being talked about in the next day, usually not a great thing. Usually not a great thing, especially if we're talking about not many game-sealing plays happen at the D-line, I feel like.
Yeah. When you're a defensive lineman,
especially when it's the opposite way, that's not good, Jerry. What are we doing?
Yeah, no. When you're a defensive lineman and you didn't, and we're not talking about a sack or an interception that you have. Generally, things did not go your way last night, and it certainly did not for the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm left wondering what's Mark Davis doing? Is he still with the smoke show? Did he bring her to Los Angeles? I don't know.
You have to imagine. I mean, she's a pretty girl. Now, granted, I've only seen one photo of her, and a water bottle's covering her face. As a journalist, I really dug deep. I was searching really deep for journalism reasons. I was really digging deep,
of course, John.
Trying to find the photo of who this girl is. See, find the Instagram. See, can I figure out exactly who this is and what the relation is? That's a rabbit hole that I went down because I'm a journalist and that's what I do.
And professional show, Josh.
Professional show. I couldn't find her. All my sources couldn't find. And maybe I wasn't looking in the right places. Maybe that's on me. But I imagine she is what we think she is. And if that's the case, he's definitely going to try to impress her. And is it more impressive to not own an NFL team than to own the Raiders, Patrick?
Great spin zone there. I love it. So I would still say it's way cooler to own the Raiders, but he doesn't have enough money, so he won't own them for long.
That might be the case, Patrick. I mean, he can't even fire the head coach who calls. That has to suck as a Raiders fan. You watch your head coach and he sucks. I mean, there's no way around it. You have Carr's all right. I mean, Carr's better than a lot of quarterbacks in the league. You got Devontae Adams, who, with Aaron Rodgers, was, he the best wide receiver in the NFL. And argue he still has the most touchdowns in the NFL. I don't know how close it is, but right now on top. And then you have Josh Jacobs, who literally is a top 3 running back in the NFL right now.
Going to get a lot of money this offseason.
So you have number 1 wide receiver, top 3 running back, and you got like a above half quarterback, and you can't figure out a way to win games. That tells me it's probably might not be the players' fault completely for losing these games. So it's going to be tough. And it does, you're right. It does suck that, Mark Davis doesn't have enough money to potentially keep this team. But I know there's a guy out there, Patrick, who has a lot of money in a sport. And because he has a lot of money, he is doing things that literally no one else can do. So there's a guy, and I didn't know about the baseball world, but there's a dude named Steve Cohen right now who is just, he's just making money rain everywhere.
Uncle Stevie.
So, and you're a better baseball guy than me. I just dove into this world. It's pay to win. So Patrick, there's this game I used to play. It was called Clash of Clans. I don't know if you're familiar. Great game, okay? I would play at the beach with my friends. We were in a clan called the 302 Crew, Delaware 302. And it was a very fun game for like the first few weeks because I was in there and I was getting my coins, getting my elixir, and building up my town. It was a really good town. I had some diamond walls. It was pretty sweet. And then to upgrade my stuff, it started taking like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And then the next thing you know, it's really tempting because the only way to actually win is to pay for coins to upgrade my stuff faster. And it was pay to win. And so I look at all my buddies' bases who were way better than mine. It's because they're using Mom's credit card. And Mom's credit card was undefeated in that game. Undefeated.
Well, and that's what you're saying. Is Clash of Clans is just like the MLB.
Just like the MLB.
It's not fair. The Mets are just using Stephen Cohen's credit card. So, look, they handed out a contract to Brandon Nemo, okay?
I didn't even know who that guy was.
8 years, $161 million. Like, man, that's a lot of money. It's one thing to pay Verlander and Scherzer like a bunch of money. Brandon Nemo, that's a lot. But look, Uncle Stevie, he's got one goal, and the one goal is to win a World Series. Now, the only issue with that is it would help if you won the NL East, which you led all year, and then you choked down the stretch. And the other thing that would be nice is that you could get out of the first round of the playoffs. But, so other than that,
but he's taking the steps to get there, though. Hey, Yankees, guess what? I know you were always the premier town in New York. Or the premier team in New York, town in New York.
Would you argue the Queens is better than the Bronx, though?
Patrick, I don't know anything about New York. I don't know anything. Right. I know that I went to Pizza Place.
More of a
pretty
Brooklyn
good.
Guy myself.
Pretty good. Went to the Empire State Building. Went to the Statue of Liberty, which everyone says potentially could have been a Trojan horse, and it failed. I don't know about that. But what I do know is, that's just crazy that you could just be the richest guy ever and just pay to win the game. And he's only been the owner for a few years, and so it seems to me like they're probably going to get good really fast. And if I had to guess, Yankees, you're going to probably suck because you almost lost Arson Judge to the Giants. They're offering more money. Any other normal human being takes that deal. You don't have Arson Judge anymore.
Well, a quick rant about Aaron Judge. Why Why would you re-sign with a team that has fans that boo you after you hit 62 home runs for them?
Yep. And by the way, Patrick came out. They were juicing the balls. Did you hear about that?
Oh, shocker.
I mean, telling you what, it is a scandal. I just found out about this. Baseball has in previous years had two types of balls, and one ball was a little bit heavier than other balls. Other balls were a little bit more dead. These balls were a little bit more juiced, and you were finding them, in certain games. And it was a big scandal. So MLB was like, no, we're doing away with that. And MLB, they don't let you test the balls. So they were like, hey, we're not letting anybody test the balls. Well, somebody got a hold on a lot of baseballs and tested them and found that there were actually three types of balls. And one ball was a little bit heavier, a little bit more juiced. And they found that that ball was only used in the All-Star game and Yankee games. Now tell me this. If baseball's pay to win, and if you're a good team, you get juice balls, man, baseball, what are we doing? That's like if there was a player in the NFL who's got every single time any penalty happened on him, he got the calls his way. And,
right.
Or if there was a player who, was really good and no matter what he did, there was no consequences to his off the field actions. That would ruin the integrity of the game. Baseball, get your stuff together, man. Because this can't happen anymore. Because I'm a neutral. Listen, I would love to be a baseball fan. If you guys gave me a reason to be a baseball fan, I would be a baseball fan. You guys are kind of letting me down here because I could have gotten interested in being a baseball fan. I mean, I love rooting for a guy who's paying to win. And by the way, Patrick, just wait till the Saudi guys buy a baseball team. It's going to be over by that point. It's going to be like the Man City of baseball. They're just going to buy a team and then pay to win. I don't know.
Yeah, but does Man City even have that much success?
Well, they've had more success with Saudi money than they did before Saudi money. Just going to say that. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And baseball, get your stuff together because what's happening is not great. Ronaldo is a crybaby. That was a good transition because this is a professional show. Ronaldo gets benched going into the game against it wasn't the Netherlands. It was another European country. Patrick, Switzerland. There it is. Ronaldo gets benched going to Switzerland. And by the way, Speed went to the game. You're familiar with Speed?
Yes. Funny.
Went to the game to go see Ronaldo. Second time he went to go see the game, and Ronaldo's benched. Some are saying it's a Speed curse. Hate to see that for that kid. But Ronaldo's benched for tactical reasons. And, I mean, Portugal just destroys team.
Well, here's the thing.
What was the team? That was a point to who was not Netherlands.
Oh my gosh, Josh!
Who was it? Switzerland. Listen, man, they're all forgettable. European countries are forgettable. So
Switzerland's like the one country that's like remember.
It's sticky fingers, right? Switzerland.
Where is this going?
I forget. This. It's the four fingers, the sticky fingers. It's like an abbreviation in the map. That's how you remember them. It did not work, apparently. So they get destroyed, and there's allegations that Ronaldo was very upset. He allegedly threatened to quit the team. Now, of course, the team comes out and says, no, he's a class act professional. Ronaldo didn't say that.
Well, he isn't.
But he isn't. So you could see why I would believe that Ronaldo threatened to quit the team. You could see why I would think that the story is true. Because if any other player, if Mbappe threatens to quit, the France team, nobody's thinking that's legit if that story comes out. But because it's Ronaldo, people are legitimately thinking that. And if your reputation has been tainted that much by your actions to where a story like that comes out and it's believed and believable even after the team denies it, it really just confirms that Messi's the GOAT here. And
Well, it's also not like Ronaldo's had a history of just quitting on teams the last few years. I mean, he would never do that.
no, it's never do that. Ronaldo, you need to figure things out. Apparently, there's a picture circulating of his girlfriend or wife or whoever his partner is after the loss, and she looks ticked. He looks ticked. I mean, after the win, but personal loss,
It was a
team
personal
win.
out, yes.
And listen, Ronaldo still did a lot for the game, did a lot for his country, and soccer fans are going to say this is a L take because when soccer fans are talking about Messi and Ronaldo, all the soccer fans are going to be like, well, no, Ronaldo's the best. But then if I was talking bad about Ronaldo and Messi wasn't in the conversation, all the soccer fans are going to decide to unify together and hate on it. And by the way, I've not talked about soccer much. The one time I did talk about soccer, most hated thing I've ever said on the internet. Like instantly hated on by a lot of soccer fans. And I'm not against you soccer fans. I played soccer.
I was there senior night. Yeah.
I have a banner.
Look, Ronaldo's like the guy that got everything he wanted to growing up when you were in school, and then he finally went to college and realized that like life's hard. And this is where he's at in his career. It's like, yeah, like you're not the best. You never were, and you certainly aren't now.
Yeah, he's not the best. Patrick, side note, I just want to say this. So last night, speaking of the best, this is what it reminded me of. There was an award ceremony last night. It was called the Game Awards. And I found that I got sucked down this rabbit trail on Twitter, which for me, I don't go down too many rabbit holes on Twitter. It's a scary place.
It's sometimes hilarious when you end up.
It's a scary place for me. And so I found that this Flute Guy was trending. And I was like, who the heck is Flute Guy? And you see it, something called Flute Guy trending, and you got to click on it. Click on it. I got down this rabbit hole of Game Awards, which when I say Game Awards, we're talking about video games. And it's like this whole like gamer culture, like Twitter, that a part of Twitter I've never been on before. Talking about not what is it? Elden Ring was the game of the year, and that happens once a show. If it doesn't happen in a show, it's honestly bad luck. But Elden Ring, which by the way, Patrick, side note, game community says it was a W. They got it right. That Elden Ring was game of the year. So congrats Elden Ring. Never played it, never heard of it, but apparently they got it right. But they did a better job than the selection committee for college. But I found this guy, this Flute Guy, who was playing during like one of the songs, and he was going off. It's just one flute dude, and he's just going crazy. Awesome. And then I found out in that same show, protester goes on stage, and it gives an acceptance speech, and like nobody stops him, and nobody knows he's a protester because he goes up with the group, and even the group is sitting there and letting him give the acceptance speech. They don't even know who he is, and it wasn't until after he gives the acceptance speech that he's kicked off. And he goes and he thinks his big thank was Bill Clinton. Yes, I know.
That's just out of nowhere.
And so he gives this acceptance speech, and like after he gives it, like people aren't really sure how to respond to it. And so like there's like kind of like a mixed like crowd. Like you feel like a couple people give like a half kind of clap, like they're not really sure. Like wait a sec. And so there was a solid group of people in the audience who legitimately thought it was part of the show, and so like you could hear that in the clap, how it was like a little bit like a hesitant clap, but it was still there, like it could be part of the show. Then he was escorted out, and gamers, they say it tainted their show. This is kind of like, if I had to guess, it's kind of like it's the Oscars of cinema lovers. It's the college award show of the gamer world. Speaking of college award shows, Patrick, Caleb Williams, player of the year.
Caleb Williams should be the Heisman winner, and that's done set. Like, let's look. Personally, talk to Stetson Bennett the other night. Nice guy.
Did you actually?
Yeah, I actually did.
Wait, like, was it one-on-one or with a group?
It was in a bar.
Were you in the bar?
Yeah, and he was there.
And was he like getting swarmed?
Swarmed. I mean, look, talk about girls just lining up to get pictures with him.
That's so sweet.
But okay, like, so I'm here to say, like, Stetson Bennett, he was a nice guy. Like,
nice guy.
Like,
did you basically. Wait, did you invite him on the show?
I actually at one point tried to offer an interview after everything was done, and he was just kind of like,
So you're telling me we could have had Stetson Bennett on the show, Patrick? And
definitely not this week.
Okay.
The homeboy's in New York.
Okay, so this is a Zoom show, Patrick. You're in Georgia. But continue. Okay, so you talked to Stetson Bennett, nice guy, but you're saying Stetson Bennett not player of the year, Caleb Williams.
Yeah, but I'm okay if Stetson wins it.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, Stetson should win it.
It's just anyway. My point is, Caleb Williams, I think, is going to win the Heisman. Stetson Bennett, nice guy.
Okay, Caleb Williams, not nice guy. Oh, all accounts will tell you that. Now, maybe he's nice to his team. He's a heel if there ever was one, and you can't write on your fingers and not get the job done.
Well, in all fairness, he only lost to one team.
The one team that he decided to call. And listen, this dude, I like him. I don't know how I feel about him. Because part of me loves a person who is a little bit antagonistic. Loves a dude who, stirs up trouble a little bit. But also part of me is like, kind of hates him a little bit.
Look, Caleb Williams, I think, is the most talented. Like, if you want like an actual like sports take here, I think the defense at USC is so bad that the rest of the team's not good enough that what Caleb does is over the top, makes the team way better. That being said, if he doesn't win the Heisman because he couldn't beat Utah, fair. That's fair.
That is fair. Give it to our guy Stetson, okay? Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, yes.
Friend of the show. And the story is too good to not give it to. We're talking about comeback stories. We're talking about a walk-on. A guy who, now granted, same age as Lamar Jackson, who has since won
Josh?
a Heisman and an MVP. What's hilarious, Patrick?
What's hilarious about that is that tweet that went trending is a guy that works in the sports media program here.
Yeah.
And like we get picks from him every week.
Really? You get picks from him?
Yeah, I could text Dane right now. He's the guy that went viral on that tweet.
Wait,
started using it.
Speaking of picks, Patrick. Now I feel like this is a good transition to go into something. I have a new idea for the show.
Please tell me it involves a wheel.
Patrick, every segment, I don't know how to write a segment that doesn't involve a wheel yet.
The wheel's electric, though.
It's still progression of the show. If you look at how the show's evolved, I mean, me and Patrick had the Social Sports Hour, and then now we have Josh and Pat. And nothing's really changed about the show. We're trying to get better. The one consistent's always been the wheel. And yeah. Patrick, I created a wheel, and it has every single bet on it. And we're gonna spin it, and whatever lands on, that's the pick that the show's gonna be riding with. And it might honestly be the Picks and Pancakes pick of the week because we're cold. Picks and Pancakes is cursed. And I put out a tweet. I think I need to find a way to undo this curse, Patrick, because Thanksgiving parlay was supposed to be the week that turned everything around. Buried by the Patriots. I go out and I root for a story that every single person should have been rooting for. Texans facing former teammate Pharaoh Brown. What are we doing here? That was a match made in heaven. And
I'm not talking about Jedrick Wills.
Jedrick Wills Jr. I mean, he was a liability for that team. And And that's not what we're talking about today. And now instead we're talking about Browns cover. The pick of the week is cursed.
Well, Josh,
and I may never look at Pancakes again, but right now, Patrick, let's go do this. Let's go. Let's go. We got a lot of comebacks. A lot of comebacks. And Baker Mayfield, we are so proud of you. On here is every single pick. Of every single pick that's possible this week. No alternate spreads because I'm pretty sure you could have infinite options if it was alternate spreads. But I think we just click this thing, Patrick, and I say we just ride with this. Whatever pick it is, I'm tired of having to pick a pick. I just want to pick one, have the wheel pick one, because if I know anything about this wheel has been good to me in the past. And I can't help but believe it's going to continue to be good for me. Patrick, I'm spinning this wheel right now.
Spin
3,
it.
2, 1. Here we go. What do we got? Eagles minus 7. The Eagles minus 7 against the Giants. Patrick, I feel like this is a good pick.
I actually love
it. And if I would I have picked this pick if I wasn't having a wheel pick this pick? Absolutely not. Because I feel like the Giants, backdoor cover was something that was good to me in the past.
Giants backdoor cover is like a 24-20 type of game, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about a 28-20 type of game where the Eagles win, because that's what you get here. Touchdown favorite for the best team in the league. Wink, wink. Yeah, yes.
Come on, we all know.
Hammer it all day.
Wow. Eagles minus 7. We're going to be riding with that. And a school that is already riding a new presence in their organization, Colorado, man. I saw a video last night, Colorado, with Deion Sanders at the basketball game. As soon as he walks in, goes on a 12-0 run, just like that.
Electric.
The Deion effect. It's real. It's here. It's in Colorado. And if Deion Sanders doesn't win a national championship, I think Colorado fans are going to be let down, which is it's unfortunate for Deion, because when Deion went to Jackson State, it was like, hey, if you win like 5 games, like we have no idea what to expect of you.
Josh, I'm pushing back.
We're like, you're there.
I'm pushing back on that. Colorado was 1-11 last season. So when everyone got on Twitter and saw that Deion basically told the whole team that he's going to bring in his guys, you might want to hit the transfer portal. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but you guys were 1-11. You guys were not good at this game called football last year.
Patrick,
and Deion Sanders wants to win, so he's going to go get his guys that can be better than 1-11.
I hope so. Patrick, I've been on a team that's bad. Been on a lot of teams that have been bad. And it's very easy on the team when you're on a team that's bad to think, if only I was on a team that wasn't bad. That'd be awesome. But then sometimes you have to think, and you have to have this awareness that maybe you being on a bad team and the team that you are on being bad are kind of a parallel. And I think that a lot of guys in that room had that realization that maybe there's a reason we were 1-5. And maybe there's a reason I was on a 1-5 team.
Maybe there's a reason I'm playing at Colorado and not Alabama.
Huh. And that's a real conversation that went through a lot of dudes' thoughts. And I hope Deion, I hope he changes the program around. I'm rooting for Deion so much. That'd be awesome.
You know how cool it would be to see like gold colors?
Oh, that'd be the best. It'd be the best. But Colorado was bumping last night as Deion was in the building. And
arguably the most swagger Colorado has ever had.
Ever had. So, hey, congratulations, Colorado. We wish you nothing but the best as you guys move forward and just pursue this new chapter of your organization. But yeah, Patrick, crazy stuff happening today. I'm still on Steve Cohen. I can't believe that you're just pay to win in baseball.
Yeah.
Wild. And to summarize the show, Baker Mayfield, comeback kid, the kid who literally didn't do the reading, showed up to class, aced the quiz.
You root for that kid.
You root for that kid. That's good for Baker. Like I said, Ronaldo, Steve Cohen, very rich. Ronaldo crybaby. I mean, come on, Ronaldo. Guess what? You get benched. Play better.
Stetson friend of the show.
Wheel says Eagles -7 is a lock, and if you don't, we're riding. Josh and Pat pick of the week. Eagles -7, and I think if this wheel can get hot here, it's the perfect time to get hot.
And you know what? Josh, I'm here to say Eagles -7. We will boost that in every sports book by +000. Okay, so if you log in, use our promo code. Any sports book in the country, that'll get boosted by +000.
Man, I'd love to. If you are listening to this show and you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, everyone is 6 people away from everyone. That's what stats will tell us, and that's what.
I thought it was 3.
I think it's 6.
At 6, I think it's more realistic.
I think 6 from every single person in the world is 6. Maybe in America it's 3. I don't know. If you know somebody who knows 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 somebody who can get us hooked up with sponsorships, here's the types of brands that we like to work with.
Yeah.
Pancake mix companies.
1.
Aunt Jemima, if you're out there and you want to make a comeback and do a comeback on the show, syrup companies.
2.
Delaware specific LED light companies.
3.
And I can't help but imagine.
Best Buy 4.
Oh, Best Buy.
Need better equipment.
Oh, Best Buy, please, Best Buy. Every day I wake up and I go, man, if I just had this, and I think Best Buy, we could really link up. So that's the show. Thank you guys for listening, watching. Make sure you subscribe, and if you've made it this far, you're probably subscribed because nobody makes it this far unless you're subscribed. That's just what stats tell us. And so Make sure you have a good morning, good day, good week, and let's have a heck of an NFL weekend here, Patrick.
Let's do it. I love it. Go Eagles -7.
I can't say go Eagles, but yes. Eagles -7. Hit it.